Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a controller using the text tool. So this video is gonna cover both the text tool and how to create a controller using multiple NURBS curves. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna combine all of those curves into one shape. So the text tool can be found under Create, Text. And if we go to the option, notice that we have the ability to either create polys, bevels, trims, or curves. We are going to select curves. I'm going to type in spring. This will be the spring controller for our diving board, or our springboard in this case. So I'm going to hit create. I'm going to hit F to find it. All right, make sure you do a slight movement first, V, and then snap it right here. I'm going to increase its size like so. And I'm going to position this new controller where I want it. So again, we use NURBS curves because they do not render. So I'm going to type in 90 degrees, set the right angle. I'm going to go to my side view, right camera, and I'm going to position this group right here. So now I will have that ability to select this anytime I want. I'm going to snap it in the middle, right here. And if I go to my perspective view, this is going to be my new controller right here. Now, when we create text in Maya, it's going to create NURBS curves. We had curves selected. So what we want to do is we want to have the ability to select one of them and then it selects everything, right? But as you guys can see, when I open my text group, my text underscore spring one, notice that each one of these characters right here, it's in its own group. Now, things like, for example, the letter I, if I open it, notice that I have two curves, right? If I zoom in right here, let me hit F. Each one of these letters is made out of a group of curves. So hit Q for the selection tool, and then you can see that the G has 3 curves, N is 1, I has 2 curves, but the P has 2 curves, okay? So we want to be able to select all of these guys right here and make them into one single curve. So the very first thing that we're going to do is that I'm going to take every single curve right here out of their groups. The fastest way of doing this is you select the curves and you group them. So you're going to go to Edit, Group. And what that's going to do is going to put them in a group of their own. Okay, so I can separate this by middle mouse drag it. I'm going to select the text spring folder and now delete it. And I'm going to select all the curves right here, move them out of this group. However, we're going to use this group. Now, what we need to do is we need to select all the curves and notice in our channel box that they all have a bunch of values, right? In their translate, rotate, and scale. So we want to delete their history, freeze their transformation, and we're going to center the pivot. So now every single curve right here has had their transformation frozen. They're all outside of a group. And now what we're going to do next, in the outliner, if you guys notice right here on the word display, if I select shapes, it is going to select the shapes of each one of the curves. And notice that if I open these curve shape nodes by clicking on the plus signs, I can see the content of every single one of these meshes. These guys right here are what we want to combine together. So what we have to do is we have to select all the curves. I'm going to hold Control. And then I'm going to select this group right here. The parenting command is going to be parent space -R space -S. And when I hit enter, now they're all part of this one shape. If I get out of here, if I go to display and deselect shapes, I can select all of these old nodes, delete them, and I can double click here and call this one spring underscore CTRL for controller. And here's my controller. It's made out of multiple curves. I can delete the history, freeze the transformation, center the pivot, W, there you have it. And now what I can do, I can go to the attribute editor. Notice that I have the typical NURBS curve color. And to change the color of a curve, we are going to go to Spring Controller, Display. We are going to go to our Drawing Overrides. we're going to enable our drawing overrides, and I'm going to select the color that I want, for example, yellow. And here's our newly created controller made out of multiple curves. So now when I select the controller, it selects the entire thing. So what we can do next in our channel box is that we can create a new attribute and assign the springboard's bend to that controller. So we're going to do that in the next video.